Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The LSU commitment sweatshirt makes its way back out as Brian Kelly LSU land, at least in my mind, one of the more intriguing prospects that you see in the 2025 cycle in four-star offensive lineman Carius Curne from the state of Arkansas. And why I say most intriguing is this is a kid that, in my mind, legitimately could play both sides of the line of scrimmage during his time at LSU. Right now, it sounds like LSU sees him more as an offensive lineman, which I certainly can get behind after watching the film. But again, the freakish athletic traits, the get off the line of scrimmage, I mean, he could certainly be a force on the inside of the defensive line as well. One of those guys that you just take a look at the athletic profile, you take a quick look at the film and say, I don't really care where he's going to play. Get him on our program. We'll figure out the best position because wherever he does play, he's a guy that you just kind of think is going to excel at the collegiate level because, again, just freaky athletic traits with this kid. Fired up to get into the film. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the LSU fans. Been a blast talking this program on the recruiting trail. The amount of support y'all continue to show truly does mean a lot. I love breaking down these commitments. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And for LSU, it sounds like it's going to be a busy next couple of weeks for LSU on the recruiting trail. And without further ado, let's get into Carius Curne. And again, at 6'4", 300-plus pounds, he plays on both sides of the football at the high school level, which is not necessarily extremely rare for these premier line of scrimmage players. In my mind, what is rare is when you look at the film and you say, I don't even know what prospect or what position he's necessarily better at or what position he's going to have more success with at the next level. Because again, the film on the defense and offensive side of the football is extremely impressive. Now, talking about him as an offensive lineman first, because that does sound like what he's going to play at the next level. This is an offensive lineman that gives you a lot of versatility. Certainly has the athleticism and frame to play the offensive tackle spot. I personally like him on the inside of the offensive line. Take a look at On3's rankings. Top 25 national prospect. They have him as the #1 interior offensive lineman in the 2025 class, and for good reason. When you take a look at the offensive film, this kid has kind of a different level of power in the hands, and you kind of just want him playing on the inside of the offensive line because he operates in a phone booth exceptionally well. When he has hands-on opposing defensive linemen, the game's kind of over. I mean, the power in his hands, the grip strength, the ability to operate in those close combat situations, that's to me where Carius Curne excels as a football player the most. So that's kind of why I lean inside of the offensive line if he does play the offensive line. But again, the freaky athleticism for the size certainly tells you he can play tackle as well. And then you look at the defensive side of the football and say, the get off the line of scrimmage for someone who's 6'4", 300 pounds is truly special. I could legitimately see this kid being an all-conference player on the inside of the defensive line as well. And we'll just get into the film. I would love to hear from you guys as well in the comment section. If you want to kind of take your projection on where this kid plays, the defensive line film, I mean, it's special. The power that this kid has in his hands, I mean, just walking interior offensive lineman into the quarterback, pretty routinely. Now, he gets out in space, again, off the line of scrimmage when he is engaged with defenders. And again, that's kind of why I like him as a guard. But the power that he has, that's a triple team that Carius Curne just worked right through. I mean, he is kind of impossible to block on the inside. He is so good moving all along the line of scrimmage. And again, so when you look at him as a potential guard, you talk about pulling to the play side, getting to the second level, all things that you could really see Carius Curne really excel with at the next level. And again, when he gets hands on defenders, that's when he's most special. Again, working up to the second level, just incredible strength in the hands, just kind of ragdolling defenders pretty routinely. Really, really good in those zone schemes. The upper body strength, I mean, if you kind of just look, playing a little high here, but just, I mean, putting guys in the dirt. I think this kid is an absolute freak show. And again, whether it's the offense or defensive line, he looks good in pass protection. I'm really fired up about this kid. But I think most importantly for LSU fans, I think you're fired up to continue to build the line of scrimmage. You look at this LSU team going into the 2024 season and say, this is one of the best, if not the best offensive line that we're going to see. Obviously, we have some question marks on the defensive line. Take a look at this 2025 class and say the offensive side of the football is going to be special. Even with five-star wide receiver Decorian Moore decommitting from LSU, I look at this offensive class and just say it is hard to see LSU taking a step back on where they were on the offensive side in 2023. Number one player in the country, Bryce Underwood. Number one running back in the country, Harlan Berry, doing a really good job on the offensive line with guys like Devin Harper. I scroll down this list. Tyler Miller from Mississippi, we talked about him and say it's a really complete class. And you got three offensive linemen already in the fold for LSU in this 2025 cycle. I wonder if they are recruiting Carius Curne on the defensive line or just kind of leaving that option open. Again, as of right now, it sounds like he's going to play offense. I'm okay with it. I think this kid is just a freaky kid. And if you ask me about my evaluation for Carius Curne, it's probably a lot closer to what On3 has in terms of being a top 50 national prospect as opposed to outside of the top 100. But I think, LSU really likes this kid. And you take a look at what they're doing in the 2025 cycle, number 11 class in the country, but you scroll down and look at the important number, and that is 93.81. That's the average rank commitment that LSU has in this 2025 class. And you look at who's that's higher than Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Clemson, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, they have not the quantity quite yet for LSU, but the quality of player that LSU is bringing in. That's what excites the LSU fans. Again, this 2025 class, at least to me, appears very special. They're in it for multiple five-star guys, including guys like DJ Pickett. We'll see how LSU closes out 2025. We got a lot of commitments to break down over the next couple of weeks. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.